Take us back, Professor Troy, if you can, to the antecedents of the Balfour Declaration by England, and then we'll see how it ties into America, if it does at all.
The Balfour Declaration, of course, is so important. In 1917, England, which was Great Britain, it was the center of the most powerful empire in the world, and the one, when we look at the Middle East and we see a lot of the messes, but also we see how clean the lines are in the maps, it's because the British did much of the map drawing. And so in 1917, when Lord Balfour, the foreign minister of England, recognizes that the Jewish people have a right to a homeland in Palestine, wow, it's an amazing moment. It's a moment when the world starts recognizing in a very formal way our fundamental rights. We don't need the world's recognition to have those rights to this homeland, but it helps politically, globally, and diplomatically. And so we put the Balfour Declaration of 1917 with the San Remo Declaration and the League of Nations mandate of the 1920s, and with the, people like to call it the 1947 UN Partition Plan, but I like to call it the 1947 UN recognition of the idea of a Jewish state. What formed the Jewish state was secondary to the fact that the world was recognizing the importance. Now, within that, there's lots of diplomacy going on. What's most fascinating about the American side of things is that by this time, Great Britain is going down a little bit, and the United States is starting to work its way up. And so it's very important for them that Woodrow Wilson help out. Now, Wilson instinctively is rooted in the Bible as a Virginia-born son of a preacher. He also, as we'll see in his 14 points, very much believes in national self-determination. And many people think that, well, Woodrow Wilson certainly had certain moral shortcomings when it came to women, when it came to blacks. He, in many ways, invented the modern world with so many small nations being able to express themselves culturally, politically, existentially. And so Zionism would fit into that vision. But a month before the Balfour Declaration of November 1917, Wilson is not so excited about this impending declaration. Why, people say? Many people think it has to do with his anti-Semitic advisor, Colonel E.M. House. And people give Louis Brandeis, Wilson's friend, who served on the Supreme Court, thanks to Wilson, and had been a great progressive lawyer and crusader, as the one who convinces Wilson, wait a minute. He reminds Wilson who he is. He reminds Wilson of his best self in terms of his biblical orientation, in terms of his belief in self-determination, and frankly, in terms of the need to boost up a Jewish and frankly Western presence in the Holy Land as it goes from being controlled by the Turks, the Ottoman Turks, to the Brits.
Okay. So did he face opposition, Wilson, aside from his advisors? Was there political opposition from Congress, or was this, again, part of the whole worldview that Wilson
it was much more internal. It wasn't a huge debate in the United States at the time. It was much more once Great Britain issued the proclamation and once Wilson supported it, there was a great surge of enthusiasm. But many of these things, it's a different moment in time. The media isn't the media; it's just journalists, it's reporters, and they're not as intrusive. We're not following things as citizens day to day as we do today, moment to moment. And so there was not this huge debate, because it's just one of these things also that Great Britain did almost by fiat, but there was a lot of behind the scenes diplomacy.